edition of Success Stories with Summer Owens. And today I am so excited to be talking to my friend, Alton Cryer. And Alton is a business development officer with Orion Federal Credit Union, but he does so much more. Before we get into that, I have to tell you a little bit about Alton and my personal journey with him. I met Alton when he was a student at the University of Memphis. I was working at FedEx, and he and some other students, young men, approached me wanting some advice, and they asked to go to lunch. I met them at McAllister's for lunch. I'm at work, I'm a professional, and I get there and I'm business casual, probably more casual than business, and they were all in suits. All booted and booted. And from that moment on, I knew he and those other young men were to be taken seriously. And so in all these years that I've known him since then, I have definitely done that. I've taken him seriously, but not too seriously, because he is a wonderful person, love having fun as well, but he is about his business. So welcome, Alton. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first and foremost, man, congratulations to you, mastered it. Don't play with them, but thank you so much for having me today, Summer. Appreciate you for always being willing to connect with us, man. That was a blessing. Young guys, you know what I mean, wanted to connect with you, so we appreciate that. Again, my name is Alton Cryer. I am the business development officer for Orion for the credit union. In addition to that, when I met Summer Owens, executive director of STS Enterprise, and also about 3 years in the game, a real estate agent with Kellar Wiliams. So.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And he is so much more. And so it'll come out as we talk. New daddy, pretty new husband, another baby on the way.
Pops.
All of that. So
another baby on the way.
And I saw that. I'm so excited for y'all's cute family. So excited.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, because I love your story. I love your story, and I know it will help a lot of people, especially a lot of young men. So let's jump right into it. So I have in this program what I call the So What Success System. And that's learning how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices to achieve so what success. And that's success no matter what obstacles you face in life, or what challenges you face, or what challenges you create yourself. If you can learn to do those things, you can be successful. And Alton, you've done that. You have lived the So What Success System with or without even knowing it. Mm-hmm. And so my first question for you is, talk about some obstacles that you have overcome, or that you had to overcome to be successful, to be the man that you are today.
Yeah, so I would, if I had to kind of group them together, because I think it pillars down to a number of different areas. If I had to say I had to mentally had to overcome, I would say environmentally I had to overcome, and then financially as well. And I start with the mental piece, and I add spirituality in there as well. I start with the mental piece because, man, just coming up where you can feel like you can't obtain something, or education wise you're really not the smartest, so mentally you feel like you can't do certain things. And also at a certain point in my life I was stagnant, man. I wasn't doing nothing. I just wasn't being proactive. I wasn't getting involved, and just mentally I didn't see myself as a leader. I didn't see myself as a go-getter, right? In sports I was a hustler, man, but I didn't know how to translate it over to the real world. And when I mentally overcame that, man, I was able to see it transpire in so many different ways. And I say environmentally wise because environment wise, I feel like you can be placed into an environment, or you can create a positive environment, if you will. And so, my mom, shout out to my mom, my dad. My dad taught me hard work. It's my mom taught me the faith aspect. Um, you know, um, but there were some things I was missing. There were some things I was missing from a um, necessity standpoint. I remember when I was growing up, I used to go to my aunt's house, and they stayed in Cordova, right? And I used to always go to their house, and they had all the Disney tapes, they had all the snacks, they had the two-story home, they had a garage. You know what I'm saying? They had a vacuum, they had water in it. I was like, bro, this the life. And I used to go back to the crib, and I used to be having an attitude, and now I feel bad that I did with my mom, my dad. But I was like, man, why we gotta live like this? Why we can't be in Cordova? Why we can't be living the good life? And sometimes not having lights. What I mean, sometimes having to sleep on the floor. What I mean, it was just some of those things that environment wise, it wasn't allowing me to thrive. And so, man, blessed to be able to overcome that and be able to, man, get my family into a home, my wife into a home, my kids into a home, and not only get myself into a great environment, help other people put themselves in a great environment, right? And so those are the things I feel like were a blessing to overcome. And last but not least, spiritually, I was raised up in the church, but from a practical faith mentality wise, spiritual wise, I don't feel like I was growing in that area. And so I thought I was going to church. I was good. You know what I mean? I used to bring girls to church every Sunday, whether I was dating one girl, two girl, whatever. I was like, we go to church. So I was bought in, but I wasn't practically living the life that I feel like God wanted me to live. And so me and Jeremy, we actually fasted when we first started out. We fasted when we were 21 years old. You know, in the prime, I'm my prime young men, college, 21. We fasted, man. No smoking, no drinking, no fornication, no sex, no cussing, and no video games for a whole month, right? And it tested our faith. We every morning we would get up at 5 o'clock and read the Word of God and get into it and talk through it and all that good stuff. And through that month, we say, you know what? Not only are we going to continue this movement, but we're gonna also be celibate until we get married. And so that created a whole nother level of
Wow.
spirit, growth in spiritual, where God, he opened the floodgates. You feel what I'm saying? And I really believe, and Jeremy as well, we really believe that discipline and that fasting set the platform for us to meet people like you, for us to be able to build an organization, for us to be able to have a marriage and be able to have a strong marriage. Of course, we all have challenges, but a strong marriage that's built on the foundation of faith. So
Y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. You and Jeremy both, and I did have opportunity to talk to him too. You both have always have been so mature to me. And we've talked and you shared with me that I didn't know you weren't always so mature.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
It
had
wasn't
a
always
period
there.
in your life, yeah, where you had to get to that maturity. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man, and coming up as a young person, man, you as a high school, you want the nicest shoes, you want the nice clothes, right? And it was two things I saw that were holding me back, right? I didn't have all the nicest shoes. I had these little white K Swiss. I used to have a little white
Well,
paint,
what's
right?
wrong
The
with that?
white.
I love my white cases. That's all you
Everybody
had
got
though.
everybody got J's, everybody got Forces, they got Air Maxes. You got some K Swiss, like, bro, take them to the back to pay list, wherever you got them from. And so in that sense, I'm like, man, I don't really have those things. And then what created out of that was a sense of anger, and a sense of wanting to belong. And so with that being said, where if I felt like somebody was talking about me, I was ready to fight them. Right, got to fighting in the football field, got to fighting because this dude called my sister a word, you know what I mean? I got to fighting and jump some folks in the heart. Like all those things were built out of anger and a lack of self. Um, and not being positive or not being, secure about myself. And so I had to show that in so many different ways. And you know what? The bad part about it is I went to college with that. I went to Jackson State University, man, got to fighting in the club. You in college, right? Got to fighting with roommates and stuff, man. You in college, right? I'm talking like fist fighting, like jacking. You know what I'm saying? So,
Can't
and
even
I think that
picture
was
that.
I know, right? It had to grow from that immaturity. And
How do you
so,
think you did that?
man, you know what? Just being around, well, one, I had to be around people who were on a different level. Like one thing about it, I used to see when I went to University of Memphis, I saw Jeremy. He had on the jeans with his polo tucked in. I'm like, bro, what you got on, bro? Like, you look like an old man. You know what I mean? But he was moving a little different. He was getting internships. He was getting opportunities. And when I came to Memphis from Jackson State, I came back home to be a support for my family. My twin sister, who was in the hospital, she had leukemia, and so I kind of came home, be a support for the family. Let's be all together, and rest her soul. She passed about 3 or 4 years ago, and I came back to support for my family, and you know, uh, I almost got kicked out of the University of Memphis, and they was like, hey. If your GPA is a 1.9 GPA, if you don't get your GPA up, you can't come back to school. So I didn't left Jackson State to come be a be home support for my family, and I'm about to get kicked out of an institution. And where do I go now? Because I didn't been into where I ain't had no job, I ain't wasn't in school. I was just washing cars and barbecue outside clubs, right? And that ain't the life I wanted. Getting 40, $50 every night, whatever it may be, that ain't the life I wanted. And so, man, I got that letter, and man, I turned on, right? Man, I changed my major. I started actually studying. You know what I mean? I started actually connecting with classmates. I started getting connected with other young people who were just moving and shaking in the city. And man, I had a 3.6 GPA after that semester. I'm talking about I ain't had a 3.6 GPA since middle school. And I don't think I had one then. I had probably like a two, like I graduated with a 2.4. You know what I mean? I graduated like in the bottom. I think my graduation number was like 300 something, right? And we had 400 in our class, and so man, seeing the ability to get a 3.6 GPA, I'm like, bet I can do this. And then I just start seeing the other side of it, getting internships, getting job opportunities, man, living the life that I thought was lame was really dope because you get to see people house over in Central Gardens. You get to, man, when I got an internship at Leadership Memphis, I got the little glass office. And so all of these things, I'm like, man, you know what? I want to live this life. And not only do I want to live this life, but I got to be able to show the next person, hey, this thing real. So I could pull up and show you that, hey, bro, here go the key. This is how you make that thing happen, and we all eat.
I
So
love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I can see how the light bulb came on for you. And that's just, I already know somebody's going to watch that and it's going to make a light bulb come on for them too. I already know that.
yeah.
So the next part of the Soulless success system is eliminating excuses. And so you talked about the choices that you made, the things that you did, and how you had to turn some things around. What are some excuses you had to eliminate to get to where you are and to become the man that you started to become and who you are today?
Well, man, I had to first and foremost, you got to remove some of the myths and some of the lies that you were taught. You know what I mean? And you know, one thing that I felt like, and I can't never be with just one woman, man. That's impossible. My cousin, so it was two people. I love my folks, but my cousin and my pops, they showed me how to be a player, if you feel. You know what I'm saying? They told me how to
Mhm.
have what this, that, and other. My cousin, you take me around the city in Memphis when I was young to all his girlfriend house every
Oh my
weekend
gosh.
every
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the excuse of, man, I can't be one woman. That ain't that's not in me. That's a lie from whoever said it. And so I had to take that excuse away and actually be practical and make a decision that this is what I'm going to do. Um, Another thing is that when I was attending University of Memphis, I had an internship at Liscombe and Pitts Insurance. Probably the only African American male at that company. It was a great company. Um, I was sleeping on the floor in my mom's house in Orange Mound. It was like 7 to 8 people in the house, a 2-bedroom crib. So I had my spot on the floor. Every day I would roll up my blanket, boom, 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 get my pillow, put it in the corner, and get to the day. And I wore a suit every day. So the time you saw me, I was sleeping on the floor at my mom's crib. But I woke up every morning with a shirt and tie on. I'm not going to say that it wasn't hard, but what I'm saying is that this situation won't last forever. This won't ever forever be my circumstances. And so that's the things I had to remove to say, hey, look, I'm always gonna be in this situation. They won't hire me because I'm a young black male. They won't hire me because my GPA ain't high enough. They won't hire me because I don't have these relationships. Like, bro, I don't want to hear that. Right. I used to go in some environments where I was the only black male in the room. Are you gonna say, oh man, they don't want to be cool with me because I'm a young black male? Or do they want, or you gonna say a mindset of, you know what, I'm a really good person, I'm a man of God. You feel what I'm saying? He gave me dominion. You feel what I'm saying? So I can either move with that authority or I can move with that excuse of I can't. And so yeah, so that's the things I had to remove from my mind that I couldn't do it, or my family can't obtain these things. Um, and what I realized when I realized that, there were no more barriers, and excuses and barriers, I feel like they go hand in hand. I was able to show my wife the mentality of no more barriers. And when you have a mentality of no more barriers, you start to create solutions. Right? You start focusing on those issues, you start creating solutions to where, hey, oh, you know what? They told me no. Hey, have you tried this though? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? And so forth. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm right in line with that thought process. And also, the third component of the SOA success system is calculating choices. And you talked about that, even the choice to get up off the floor that you were sleeping on. And I've been there too. I've been I've
yeah.
been at that place in my life before too with the kid. But you made that choice and to get up and put on a suit and present yourself professionally and keep pushing. Talk about that choice or some other choices that you had to calculate to get over your challenges and to get to where you are.
So one thing that if I reverse engineer, and I've connected with a lot of people and been blessed to connect with a lot of people, uh, I've always heard about investments and leaving some for your kids and creating the legacy. So when me and my wife got married, we had this whole theme of Cryer legacy. right? And with that being said, we want to create things not only financially, not only character wise, but just how do we build the name of Cryer, right? How do we create the legacy of Cryer? So when my son, when Caden Cryer walk in the room, or Alonzo Cryer walk in the room, or Carlisa Cryer walk in the room, the name Cryer means something. It means care. It means integrity. It means man wealth. It means teamwork, right? How do we create a name that moves it? And so, those are the things that we've done intentionally to where and to be honest, this ain't no fake or fly. This is just who I am. I really am a good dude. You feel what I'm saying? Because God has blessed me tremendously. So when people hear me say glory be to God, I really mean that. You feel what I'm saying? Because I don't belong where I am right now. I could never even fathom where God has brought me thus far. And I'm cool with it right now. Now I want to go further, you know what I mean? But I couldn't fathom it. And so when it talks about calculated choices, it's making sure that we operate with, we keep the word of God in us. We're studying that, make sure we teach to our children, make sure our children understand that and how to practically move in that, right? Don't just know scriptures to spit it out. You know what I'm saying? Let's actually live this thing and have a heart and mind of grace and mercy and forgiveness in everything that we do. But on the other addition to that, let's also think, how do we get this money, right? How do we really be profitable? How do we create opportunities? How do we own real estate? Right. That's why I jumped in. My sole reason for jumping into real estate was to create wealth for my family. You feel what I'm saying? And create wealth for others. You feel what I'm saying? So now we're able to create wealth. We're able to take those funds, buy property with them. We're able to take those funds, build a house with them. We're able to take those funds, create other businesses with them. That was the sole purpose and sole reason for it. And so that's the calculated choices that we're trying to make consistently. And even I'll go here. You can't have legacy without someone to have. I would say for me, can have someone to legacy with. So we're doing marriage counseling, right? We had a ministry called Memphis Marriages, where we create conversations around married couples to figure out how do we work on our marriage, how do we get better, how do we grow, right? And so it's those things that I feel like play a role into creating the legacy, because as a young black man, I don't know if I know, and even just young black, just in general, I don't think I know of many married couples or men that have a great boundary and balance in their marriage to where their family doesn't suffer or they don't suffer financially. And so I think those are two things that really hit hard for me, that I really want to make sure that I'm doing, because I don't want to be profitably. I want to be wealthy and then my family
At the
sucks.
cost of your family.
You feel what I'm saying?
I
Like,
think it's admirable. And you said,
yeah,
you're a good dude. And I can attest to that.
mhm,
I've seen your character, I've observed your character since you were a student.
yeah,
And I admire and respect you a whole lot for all those things that you just said, and all the
yeah,
things that I can personally say I know are true of you. I love it. I admire it, and I love what you and Carlisa are doing
yeah,
for your families. And I think that's so awesome. As a woman, I've been married and divorced.
hmm,
And so I know how hard marriage can be, and I know how important it is to have role models and support, and especially as a young couple. Is really, I think it's a beautiful thing that you're doing, and the lives and the generations that you're changing and impacting by doing it.
yeah, yeah,
With that, as well as what you're doing with STS Enterprise,
yep, yeah,
I
yes,
think
man,
it's
yes, man.
awesome.
Nah,
So I
man, it's an
have
honor.
oh yeah, I mean it's beautiful,
It
and
really is.
the other thing is, seriously, Alton, it's so genuine. It's
Mhm,
so easy and seamless for you. I see it's nothing forced about it. It's just all in who you are.
yeah,
And I respect that tremendously.
no doubt, no
Okay,
doubt.
so the SOA success system is overcoming obstacles, eliminating excuses, and calculating choices. And that's how you achieve SOA success. And that's what you just painted a picture of for us, is that you came from a less than ideal situation,
Mhm,
and you made some less than ideal choices
mhm.
that have put you in some less than ideal situations as well. But here you are today, a happy, healthy man that's building a legacy for your family and impacting other generations, and it's a beautiful thing. You've definitely been a testament, and you've been successful, and I see so much more success in your future. But how do you
I received it.
personally define success? How do you define it for you?
How do I define success for me? Man, honestly, it's I, I feel like success is fulfillment, right? It's fulfillment and purpose, honestly. I know it can get intertwined with financials and financial success and so forth, but I really believe it's fulfillment in itself. And if I'm happy with me, You feel what I'm saying? If I'm happy with me, and out of that comes financial blessings, out of that comes service, out of that comes other things, I feel like that's success. You
I
know what I
love it.
mean? And I had to realize that through headaches, you know what I mean, through having a couple dollars, through having strong relationships, and realizing that, you know what, if I'm happy with self, if I am in a great place spiritually, if I'm in a great place, all those things will come. All those things will come. And so that's what success is, man, because a lot of people are struggling with self today. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because you have so many different factors from Instagram and social media, and then real friends and family feeling like you're not where you're supposed to be at, and all those different things, and realizing that you are where you are. You're always supposed to be at. Now, if you could do some things differently, that's more so inspiration and not comparison. And
Yeah,
so I think that success is
I
being
love it.
being true to self, and being joyful and happy with self.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So one last question for someone watching this who wants to be successful, however they define it. What advice would you give them? Whether it's a young man who was, like you,
Mhm.
out of anger, doing some things that probably you wouldn't have normally done, or if it's a young professional, young college student, or
Mhm.
a young professional, or somebody seasoned in their career. What advice would you give somebody like, I want to be successful too, but I'm running into some obstacles? What one piece of advice would you give?
I would say this: self-assess. Once you self-assess, what are your challenges? What are your gifts? What are your benefits? Right, all your challenges. Then write things you struggle with. Write things that you're really really good at. Look at that list you're really really good at. Think about an industry. Think about any opportunities that may align with those gifts, and then go after those things, or go after an industry that you've heard about recently. Go after a organization that you've heard about, right? And all the other challenges, figure out those along the journey, and figure out how do you lessen that list of different challenges or things that you struggle with. But you have to first self-assess. After you do that, get connected with a group of people who are doing those things. There are so many platforms: Earn Your Leisure, Eric Thomas. There's so many platforms or communities of groups of people. I know some owns, you probably got some of Skilly with community, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many groups of people that are aspiring to do greater. STS, right? We're a group of young people looking to do better, pouring into the next generation. Find a group you can get involved in and surround yourself around those individuals. And at the end of the day, when you go home, what are you doing every day to progress every day? Whatever that is, like what is it? Watch a video. Did I go meet somebody new? Did I save $1? Did I read a scripture? Did I create this? Every day, try to figure out something you can do to progress into the next level, whatever that thing is, whether it's get up in the morning at 5 a.m., whether it's go to bed at 8:30, whether it's whatever it is that you're trying to do that, try to progress every day, and then eventually you'll start to see success in what you're doing. You won't even realize it.
I love it. I love it. I actually spoke uh, today. I had a speaking engagement this morning. That was one thing that I piece of advice that I gave was about how big things happen when you make small daily
That's
changes.
facts. That's
Big
facts.
small daily changes
That's
result in the
facts.
big results. Well, thank you so much, Alton. You've said a lot in a
Mhm.
little bit of time. And like I said before, I know this is going to impact the lives of some people who watch this. Being a mother
Mhm.
of a young man, I know some young men are going to be saved, are
Mhm.
going to be changed, are going to
Mhm.
be moved, going to be inspired. And I seriously know some lives are going to change from watching this
Dope.
video. I
There we
appreciate you
go.
so much, Alton. Thank you.
Appreciate you, boss lady.
Have a good one.
All right, bye.
Bye.